Alicia Bickett Psychic Medium. I'm travelling all over Australia this year, bringing mediumship events to as many of you as I can possibly get to, and I really can't wait to meet you. I want to share a story with you as to why I feel so compelled to do this work. I've never believed in this type of thing. I never believed in psychics. I felt really strongly that I was in control of my own destiny. So I've never ever gone to anybody for help, and that was never going to happen. I was a swimming pool and landscape designer. In 2010, I met a client who suggested that I join his Reiki healing energy course. Now that certainly changed my life. Immediately on the first day, I started becoming more aware of things, and certainly a lot of funny things started happening, you know, with the butterflies and the birds and the feathers, and some of you are already paying attention and noticing that. But I look at a really steep learning curve for me. 4.5 years ago, I moved into this little house, and I was up getting my coffee up in the main street, which I do every day, and I caught a headline. Now, I'm not a believer in reading the news. Absolutely stay away from the news. So it's got to be front page for me to even notice as I'm walking by. But there was a story there about a woman who was trying to find the people who'd received her husband's organs. She had 4 little ones. One of them very ill, and their baby, their youngest, was only 6 months old. Now, this story ruins me. She, gorgeous girl, he'd been gone for about a week and a half at that time, and I was so affected that he's this poor young mum. He'd been king hit at a taxi rank, and well, golly, that was the end of that. So I've gotten back home. I'm sitting in this very room, sipping my coffee, feeling really moved for this poor young mum. And as I'm sipping my coffee, next thing, Scott's standing about a foot in front of me. It is only a small room, but he's standing right there. And he says to me, "You need to let my family know that I'm all right. What would you do?" I took another big gulp of my coffee, looked around, took a deep breath, assessing whether I was okay or not okay. What the heck's going on here? He hadn't gone anywhere. He's still sitting there, and he says, "Please, will you let my family know that I'm all right?" Oh, I got angry at him at that point. She's up in Coffs Harbour. I'm down in Wollongong. Last thing she needs is some crazy woman ringing her up, telling her that her husband's got messages for her. I wasn't confident in what I could do then. And I certainly wasn't going to stick my neck out and harass some poor young mum with whatever he wanted to go on about. So I ignored Scott. I ignored him for the next 3 weeks. He followed me up and down my hallway. He made sure I had constant ads on the TV about organ donors. You've seen them. He even managed to get a flyer in my letterbox on organ donors. And I was pretty impressed. It's like, if this guy in spirit can be this pushy and this insistent and this desperate to help his family and his wife, I guess I got to do my bit. So I sat down one day and I focused. I used to have to close my eyes and really, really concentrate, but I sat down and I focused, and I asked him, what did he want me to tell her? And I wrote down a list of things. I rang his mobile phone and I explained to her that I was a medium and I had messages from my husband. She said, "I'll call you back in 15 minutes," and hung up the phone. I was like, oh God, that went really well. Thanks a lot. Now I feel like a big idiot. And I mean, I've harassed someone who didn't need any more pain. It was probably only 10 minutes and she called me back. And she said she'd been praying every day since he'd passed, and it had been 4.5 weeks at this point, that someone would ring her and say that they had a message from her husband. She said, "You're an angel." So I felt a whole lot better at that point. And I must say that sits with me with what I do. So I sat there and I went through all the things that he was talking about. He was insistent that he'd wiped out the big light in their front yard. And she said, no, I'm not sure. And he wouldn't let it go. He kept showing me the big light in the front yard. So I've learned from him also to be a bit more persistent in what it is that they're showing me. I said, no, he's saying it's the big light, the really big light. He'd blown up the big light. And she gasps and said, oh my God, He wiped out the power pole in her front yard. The SES had even responded to the situation. It didn't affect anyone else in the street. And he said to me, she was having a really bad day that day. Oh, sorry. So I look at Scott and his absolute determination to talk to his beautiful wife and to help his little kids to understand that he was jumping in the big bed with all of them too, and how he encourages his little one with his soccer abilities and wants to let them all know that Daddy's still there. And I get out and do it. Everybody asks me, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared they won't show up? They're always there. Your loved ones are always around you. They just move so fast now. When we're down, I'll pull it together in a minute. When we're down, it's a lot harder for them to slow down and communicate with us. So they'll use your pets, they'll use the young children under school age because they see them really clearly. They're very aware of them, but they're always trying to let you know that they're there. Now, I've had more than Scott and Rosie, and I must say Scott did come back to me. I've just done my second trip to Coffs Harbour, and he made sure I got landed right with the floods and the rest of it going on there because he needed to help Rosie again. With her 4 kids, she's having, it's crazy, how does it work here in this country? She's having to go to Centrelink to get work, and she can't get work, nothing works. He was quite insistent, and in a public event, he wanted to tell her that she needed to work from home and do the work that she does. Now, Rosie just needs to do a 1-week accreditation to get her, I understand it as law degree, and she, as a single mum with no money, couldn't get the finances together to pay that. It was a $5,000 fee. Now, the beautiful people at that event, they've all bonded together to help Rosie and to help some of the others that were there. So you guys get pulled together very specifically because your loved ones, I'm going to tell you, are very bossy. And I thought I had this all under control. I thought by doing this full time, by giving myself to this work full time, that I'd get to live a more normal life, sort of kind of. But no, they want to talk to you so badly. They're going to bother me around the clock when they really, really, really need to talk to you. So they're going to make sure that you guys get to my events, and thank them. I thank them a lot for that. Meanwhile, I'm out tripping around all over Australia right up until December. I'm planning events, booking events, and I'm releasing them on my Facebook page and my website. I also have got my book. You know that I did a book last year which really helps you in lifting your vibration and being able to do this work as well. Now, if I can do it, and I haven't done this all my life, it really got heavy in the last 4.5 years, and stronger and stronger every day. And no, I'm not an expert. No, I never know what to expect. They're teaching me all the time, but Spirit have taught me. Our loved ones in Spirit have taught me. They're around us all the time, reaching out, comforting. And it's not just those that have passed. You've got the energy of the beautiful souls that are coming into your life are around you, comforting you, encouraging you as well. So it's all so exciting, and they really need a voice. So I like to tell a story. They've got mine. I'm definitely here to help, definitely here to make a difference. Can't wait to meet you. Keep an eye on my events that are coming up, and I can't wait to meet you. We all of them. We can't wait to share with you. I'll see you very soon. Bye.